Kitchens, kitchens, kitchens. One of my most favorite rooms to design. This is because of the type of love that space holds. So in old times, the kitchen was never part of the main house. It used to be right at the back of the house where only servants and maids used to be because they were in charge of preparing the food. So the only room in the house that was associated to anything eating or entertaining for that matter was the dining room. But if you grew up in Africa, in Zambia to be particular, and you have had many, many trips to the village that I have, you know that the kitchen was that little hut outside where food was prepared, where water was boiled, but also where your grandmother gave you unsolicited advice. It was also the place where bonds were made with your mother's siblings, and you basically talked about everything. My name is Ruth Motel, founder and creative director of My Perfect Stitch. And on this chapter of Design Conversations with Ruth, we talk about kitchen design, how to create the one room in your house, no matter the size, to be a place that you love. Join me now. In recent times, the kitchen has now become part of our main houses. Whether it stands on its own, it's joined to the dining room, or in open plan spaces where when you are in your living space, you can see where your kitchen is and basically what are the items that are placed in there. There are different layouts of a kitchen. You have a U-shaped kitchen, an L-shaped kitchen, a galley kitchen, or an inline, or what they call against the wall kitchen. So basically a U-shaped kitchen is as the name sounds. It's shaped like a U. So like that or like this, depending really with the type of space that you have. But the one thing about a U kitchen is that the worktop cannot break. So when you look at it, it's basically shaped as a U. Then you have what you call the L-shaped. This is usually just against one wall, but it's shaped in the shape of an L. And also the worktop does not break. You have also what they call a galley kitchen. A galley kitchen is where there's a focal point right in the middle against the wall. So you have one side of cabinets and one side of cabinets, and then there's a space in between, which is usually 2 to 3 meters. And then you have what they call an inline or against the wall kitchen. This is usually found in smaller houses where you have all your appliances right against one wall. What helps with the layout of the kitchen is basically having to do what a kitchen is supposed to do. And we get to a point that is called a work triangle of a kitchen. This is basically the relationship between storing, cleaning, and cooking, which we all know is the essence of why we have a kitchen. So in a U-shaped kitchen, what we want to do is to ensure that there is close proximity between the three appliances, where you're storing your food, where you're cleaning your food, and where you are cooking your food. Your triangle has to be in a short distance to ensure that the cook is not overwhelmed with what is happening. In the sense of an L-shaped kitchen, the triangle still works the same. In this sense, you'd have the three important appliances basically with one against one wall and two in the other wall. So you'd have your fridge and your sink next to each other, and you have the stove on the other side. In a galley kitchen, you can have either appliances on either side of the wall. You can have your sink and your stove on one side, or you can have your sink and your fridge on the other side. In a one-line kitchen, just as it's self-explanatory, all the three appliances are on one side. But what is important is basically attaining the efficiency of your kitchen. How do we make that happen? You have to understand what activities you do when you're in your kitchen. Where do you store your food? How is your cooking process like? One of the things that you can do is just basically watch yourself as you get into your kitchen. Prepare a meal. Where are you getting your things from? This starts to help you know where you store your things and really if your things need to be stored there. I know sometimes when we're presented with a kitchen, we always think that small kitchens are not the best kitchens to have. We want to go for something big, something that has an island. But when you look at it, smaller kitchens are actually more efficient to work with. You know where everything is placed, and you spend less time doing the things that you're supposed to be doing in the kitchen so that you can spend time with your loved ones as you eat. An island kitchen, even though it's very nice, it takes a lot of time to move from one point to another in the kitchen. In this sense, there are a few tips that can work around your kitchen, not just around your island, but just having the full efficiency around it. Instead of having a large, chunky island, consider having something on wheels. It will work as storage area, but the fun part of it is that you can move it from one point to another. You can even have a butcher block on it. Use it as a chopping board. When you are done cooking, push it to the side and place your vase there. Another thing that you can do for your kitchen is that don't tile it all the way to the end. This is quite common with the houses that we're building because we feel that a kitchen is a very wet area. But when you look at it closely, the very wet places are where the water is splashed in the kitchen, around the sink. That means that you can play around with so many things above the splash area. Put some kitchen rods around, hang your pans and your cooking pots there, hang your tea towels around it. Play around with wallpaper or paint it something very different. Make your kitchen fun. Make it like a room that you live in and not necessarily a showroom. Add pictures of your family, the crazy pictures that your kids take, or paintings that you really, really like. Keep your kitchen simple. Simple is not necessarily having every gadget that is out there. Consider having gadgets that are 3-in-1. Make sure that your worktops are left clean. You know, the thing about spaces is that a clutter-full space will also make our minds full of clutter. Once you walk into a space and it's clean, it's easy to work with, even your mind flows. Add some speakers in your kitchen. Like I listen to podcasts and watch YouTube videos when I'm cooking, but others like to listen to music and dance around their kitchens. You need to look at your kitchen as something that you enjoy, a kitchen as a place that you love, and add the things that you love in it. Make sure that you can grab your knife where you want it and you don't have to dig around to find it. So sometimes instead of putting big cabinets, just put floating shelves around. Put open shelves on the bottom. This may work for a lifestyle depending on what you have. If you have kids who are still crawling, cabinets may be better for you. But you know what? You still have the upper space to play around. So, for a little exercise that I'd like you to do in your kitchen, regardless of the size, make yourself a cup of tea. I know this sounds very easy, but just time yourself and check, how long do I take to make this cup of tea? Get your kettle, fill it with water from your sink, and plug it in where your kettle is. Find your mug, find your spoon, find your sugar, and find your tray. Yes, you should have a tray. And put it on a worktop that works. Start looking around and ask yourself, am I really efficient in this kitchen? Or do I need to move things differently in certain spaces? Once you do this, then you'll be able to see if this is a kitchen that works for your lifestyle or it's just as everyone else has it. So I hope this information has been great for you. And as usual, tag us in all your responses to this question. Let us know what is happening in your kitchen, the things that you are changing and the things that you are keeping. So tag us on all our socials on My Perfect Stitch Home and Ruth Motor. And catch us next on the next chapter of Design Talks with Ruth.